I just got Diamond with a 90% win rate using Malzahar. Everyone says Malzahar is a boring champion until he starts solo carrying games with 0 mechanics and 1 button. I used this champion to climb to Diamond in one of the sweatiest seasons, and not because he's flashy, but because he's reliable, oppressive, and completely disrespected at every rank. In this ultimate guide, I'm going to show you why that's a huge mistake and how to unlock Malzahar's full power, from ability breakdowns and optimal combos to build paths, matchups, and high elo tricks that turn this so-called easy champion into a ranked menace. If you've ever wanted to win more while thinking sharper and playing smarter, this guide will change how you see Malzahar forever. Welcome to this Ultimate Guide Season 15 for Malzahar. Before we dive deeper, let's quickly break down what Malzahar actually brings to the table and what he doesn't, so you can see if he's worth your time. Strengths. Shreds tanks and bruisers with damage over time abilities, your E and Voidlings, and items like Leandries and Blackfire Torch. A point and click lockdown. His ultimate R guarantees picks or follow-ups with no skill shots required. Incredibly safe in lane thanks to his passive spell shield. Blocks, engages, roams, and any poke in lane. He's naturally tanky with a bunch of HP items despite being a mage. Easy to learn, hard to punish, perfect for climbing with limited mechanics. Scales well into the mid-late game and excels in low vision, high chaos teamfights. Amazing wave clear. This lets you shove and rotate while staying safe. Dominates objectives. His Voidlings and E shred Rift Herald, Baron, and turrets. Weaknesses. Rooted during ultimate. Gets punished hard if interrupted or mistimed. No mobility means flash is your only escape tool. Relies heavily on passive shield. Once it's down, you're vulnerable to all-ins and ganks. Weak pre-6, which means you're limited early game to helping your jungler, so you're mostly just wave clearing until level 6. Low kill pressure without jungle help or enemy misplay early. Because there's no flashy outplays with this champion, it'll be down to making concise decisions. Predictable play pattern. Good players may bait out your ultimate or dodge your Q, you'll have little room for error in Diamond plus elos. Voidlings can be unreliable in chaotic fights or against AoE comps. The bottom line is, Malzahar won't impress anyone with flashy mechanics, but if you stay composed and play smart, he becomes one of the most reliable LP tools in solo queue. Master the fundamentals and he'll quietly carry you all the way up. Let's quickly go over Malzahar's abilities. I'll keep it fast, and right after each one, I'll show you the key tips and tricks that actually matter in game. Void Shift, his passive. Malzahar gains a spell shield after staying out of combat, which blocks the next crowd control or damage. Use it to block key crowd control. Malzahar's passive blocks the next incoming spell or hard CC, making it perfect for absorbing stuns, hooks, or key ultimates, like Ash Arrow or this Blitz hook. Don't trade unless your passive is up. It's basically a second life in lane. Taking damage while it's down will reset the cooldown duration. Passive baiting under tower. If your passive is ready and you're low HP, you could probably bait a tower dive, as most players underestimate how hard it is to kill Malz when his shield blocks the initial CC or damage. His Q Call of the Void fires 2 blasts in a line that silences and damages enemies after a short delay. This resets your E duration, and I'll go over this when I cover E. Use it in Fog of War or from a brush to hide the delay and make it way harder to dodge. You can silence multiple targets and is especially useful in waves. Q is a wide and long range skill shot. Use it to silence multiple enemies during teamfights or to stop junglers mid-gank, even in Fog of War. Use the AoE to zone or delay fights. Throw Q across choke points to zone enemies and delay engage. The 1-second silence can completely disrupt combos and peel your backline. It can be used to check brushes or Fog of War, but it only provides a small amount of vision. His W, Void Swarm. Summons Voidlings that attack enemies affected by your E, they will shred anyone who doesn't run. Use Voidlings for faster objectives. Malz's Voidlings do surprising DPS to towers, dragons, and Baron. Always spawn them right before starting an objective. W provides vision. You can choose where to spawn in a small distance around you. Use it over walls or in brushes to check for champions, wards, or jungle camps. Voidlings tank tower shots and deal damage to towers. You can even use them to tank certain CC and skill shots, like this Blitzcrank hook. His E, Malefic Visions, a damage over time that bounces to nearby targets if their victim dies. It's your main tool for farming, poking, and pressuring. You'll get mana each time they bounce. Use autos or Q to secure the last tick so E bounces. Don't rely on RNG early game. Q resets your E duration. Hitting Q on a target already affected by your E will not only extend E's damage, but Aerie and Scorch often double proc as well. Efficient for side laning. You can quickly E and W on a side lane to push automatically, giving you time to look for a TP elsewhere. Your ultimate also extends the duration of E, so let's cover that now. His ultimate, Nether Grasp, suppresses and damages an enemy for 2.5 seconds, a point-click lockdown that wins fights. Ping before you ult. Always ping the target right before you are so your team knows to collapse instantly. 1 second of hesitation can cost the pick. Suppression cancels channels. Mal's ultimate hard cancels channels like Katarina's ultimate, Nunu's ultimate, or even a Cyan Q, so use it reactively to stop game-changing plays. Use R to save allies. Don't just tunnel on kills, sometimes a well-timed R can pill an assassin diving your ADC or stop an enemy from escaping with low HP. Be aware of cancel risk. Your ultimate can be interrupted by knock-ups, stuns, silences, or even a basic auto if your passive is down. Which brings me to my last point. Always check your Void Shift spell and positioning before committing. Remember, while you're suppressing a target, you are locked in place too. If you're in danger, especially in teamfights, don't be afraid to cancel your ultimate early and reposition. As for leveling abilities, max E first as it's your main damage, poke and wave clear tool, then max Q for extra harass and poke, and finish with W last. Malzahar's a straightforward champ. Once you've practiced these combos a few times, you'll be more than ready to punish mistakes and secure free kills. A simple trade combo level 3. E, Q, W. Tag them with E, immediately follow with Q for silence and extending E, then drop Voidlings to pressure them off the wave. Great for short trades and forcing enemy to back off or miss CS. All in combo post 6. E, Q, W, R. Use E to start the burn, Q to silence, then summon Voidlings right before ulting. They'll chomp away while the enemy is locked down. Perfect for solo kills or jungle setups, just make sure you have vision and passive before committing. A full damage combo, pretty similar but a little bit different. This time you'll want to drop W first, so Voidlings spawn immediately and lock onto the E target. Then Q to silence and R right after. This gives you max uptime on Voidlings autos while the target is suppressed. You want every second of the Voidling damage here, as this combo melts squishies and tanks with Liandry's and Blackfire. Flash catch combo. W, flash, ER. You want to start with W to spawn the Voidlings early, then flash forward, tag them with E and immediately R. You won't have time to Q, as the enemy can escape or cleanse if you delay. If you're flashing for a kill, don't waste time trying to look fancy. And again, this is not as clean as the other combos, but you're just trying to catch someone out, and hopefully you get some damage from the W, and that's it. Clean, guaranteed, brutal. Let's keep this quick. This setup is easy to run, clears waves fast, wins trades, and most importantly, it wins games. Keystone Summon Aerie. Summon Aerie on Malzahar only boosts your poke. You'll never get the shield effect, but the bonus damage stacks well with his damage over time and short trades. It's safe, consistent, and fits the mid to long trade style you want. From Sorcery Tree, you want to get Mana Flow banned, as this provides free mana for early poking and stacks safely with his E trades. Transcendence for free ability haste and resets on takedowns. More E's equals more R picks. Scorch. This helps chip enemies early and keep pressure with EQ combos. Optional if you're verse heavy tanks or healing, you can swap Scorch for Gathering Storm, as there's more scaling. And from secondary, you want to go Inspiration with Magical Footwear for the free boots, as this saves gold and lets you rush Mythic, and Cosmic Insight for the lower flash and TP cooldowns, which equals more kill pressure and more map control with TP. Now let's go with item builds that actually wins games. Start all your games with Doran's Ring and 2 HP pots. Aim for Lost Chapter as soon as possible, this will remove any mana problems for laning phase. Blackfire Torch, your main mythic. Start with this as it's disgusting on Malzahar right now. It amplifies your damage over time, gives AP and health, and lets you melt both tanks and squishies just by landing E. Pair it with Liandry's for stacking burn damage, and that does all the work while you stay safe behind your team. Your Voidlings E and even jungle objectives all get shredded over time. It's Malz at his most oppressive. Rylai's is a powerful third or even second item sometimes, as your E and Voidlings apply constant slows, making it nearly impossible for enemies to escape once tagged. It adds utility, kiting power, and makes your damage stick even harder. So that's pretty much the core build, and as for everything else, you can get Zhonya's Hourglass versus Assassins or dive comps, a Rabadon's Death Cap, as this provides insane damage scaling for mid to late game power spikes. You'll shred everything at this point. Void Staff as well for late game, and all that MR enemies will start building, or Morellonomicon for healing comps. Banshees and Shadowflame are still items to consider, but rarely bought. As for boots, go Sorcerer's Shoes almost 90% of games, as penetration is very important with Malzahar. Merc Treads or Plated Steel Caps if you're getting jumped constantly. And as for summoner spells, I always go Flash and TP. Flash is just always good to make those flash plays as well as a defensive summoner. Then you've got TP and it just has immense pressure around the map. If you're lower elos, I would recommend trying Flash Ignite just so you can pick up a lot more kills and get used to Malzahar's damage. And lower elo, they just don't respect Malzahar's damage early on as much. Early laning phase. Your job early game is simple. Farm safely, poke with E, and stay alive until level 6. You don't win lanes with flashy trades, you win them by not dying, punishing bad players, and scaling into a monster. Pre-6 tips. Open with E. Tag the caster minions to poke and push safely. Stand near minions so they absorb poke and preserve your passive. Use E on low health minions to let bounce and punish greedy opponents. Q mainly to secure CS or silence when jungle ganks are likely, don't waste the mana otherwise. Track your passive, if it's down, play like you're on cooldown. It's your lifeline. Post level 6. Ping for your jungler the second you hit 6 if you see potential. You now have point and click kill pressure. EQR is your bread and butter for the kill setup. Don't blow ult unless it's guaranteed or leads to something. Shove waves with E, then hover. Your pressure comes from pushing, then threatening roams or objectives. Hold your ultimate if you see the enemy jungler. One interrupt and you lose lane momentum. Zone with your ultimate cooldown. Even when it's up, you don't always have to use it. The threat alone wins you control. Early game skirmishes pre-6, a quick note. Before we jump into mid and late game, Malzahar isn't a strong early skirmisher. Unless you have a clear advantage like a quick 2v1 or a double Q hit, you're mostly a sitting duck before 6. Other mids outtrade and outplay you early, so play safe and wait for your power spike. The best you can really do here is push your wave in early and maybe get to the jungle fight quicker. Also, if your lane opponent roams and you can't safely follow, maybe you don't have flash, or if it's someone like Talon who's too fast, don't just sit mid and do nothing. Push hard, as Malzahar's wave clear and voidlings shred towers quickly, so taking 1 to 3 tower plates can just be as valuable as a kill. This fast tower gold snowballs your team and keeps the pressure on while your teammates chase elsewhere. Mid and late game, objectives and map control. After 6 and once you're out of lane, your shift focuses from just surviving lane to controlling the map through objectives and pressure. Malzahar shreds Rift Herald, Dragon, and Baron with your Voidlings and E. You burn them down faster than most champions. Whenever your team starts on objectives, be ready to tag enemies with E and drop Voidlings early if you're trying to zone them out. This makes contesting or stealing objectives a nightmare for the enemy. Your wave clear lets you push side lanes quickly, forcing enemies to respond or lose towers. Use this pressure to create picks or help your team secure objectives safely. Positioning is key with Malzahar. Stay behind your front line in most situations, using your R to lock down priority targets, and use your Voidlings to zone and chip away damage while staying safe yourself. Late game reality check and scaling confidence. Late game Malzahar scales incredibly well, as your Blackfire Torch, Liandry's, and especially Rabadon's make your damage absolutely massive. However, don't expect every ultimate to secure a pick. Some champions will have counters, like item cleansers and spell shields, or even Zhonya's hourglass to deny your suppression. That's part of the game, but even if your R gets negated, your damage is still very real and threatening in fights, so don't stress if your ult doesn't always lock down kills. Keep farming, scaling, and positioning smart. Malzahar remains a late game powerhouse that can carry fights with pure damage and pressure alone. And as mentioned before, even if you are behind, you can always become a massive pill threat for your carries. Small mechanics, massive results. These small tricks won't show up on most guides, but they make the difference between an average Malzahar and one that quietly dominates games. Harass through minions. Aim your E on low health minions and follow with Q to instantly kill minions and let it bounce to enemy champions. You can poke safely from long range while clearing the wave. Stack voidlings before a fight or wave clear. Spam Q and E a few seconds before committing to a full combo. This lets you spawn multiple voidlings early for extra burst. You can spawn a maximum of 3. Use your passive to body block for teammates. Step in front of a skill shot or key CC like an Ash Arrow or Blitzcrank hook when your passive is up, as you can absorb it with 0 consequences and save a squishy on your team. Passive baiting. Time your engage to match when your passive is about to come off cooldown. Enemies may see no shield, go in, but it will pop up mid-fight and block a critical ability. Tower baiting. Always be ready to bait dives with low HP. Between your passive, your point-click ult, and tower aggro, you can turn your enemy's greed into free kills. Timing Q and R on E targets. We've mentioned extending E by landing Q or ult, but if you time it just right as E is about to run out, it will do another 4 seconds of damage. That's almost 8 seconds of total damage over time. Cast while moving. W has no cast time while E damages over time. Use them while kiting or repositioning to maintain pressure and control without losing mobility. Use your minions to tank tower shots. Anytime you make a risky play or escape, or you want to push with your team, you can use your minions to tank tower shots. You need to place these correctly or use minions under tower to target them. Matchups can vary based on experience and jungle pressure, but if everything's equal, this list is a solid guideline for what to expect in most games. Easy matchups. These are the champion Malzahar loves to face. You have low death risk, plenty of room to outtrade and outpush them, and you can usually kill them post 6 with your ultimate. In these matchups, play confidently, poke with E and Q, and look for all-in opportunities once you hit level 6. Medium matchups. These lanes require a bit more respect and patience. You're not guaranteed to win trades, and sometimes your opponent can outpush or even outzone you early. Here, it's about smart wave management, minimizing poke, and only committing when your cooldowns and passive are ready. You'll still scale well, but you can be punished if you overextend. Some of these will simply outroam you, especially champs like Action, Asol, Galio, Rise and Twisted Fate, so ping your teammates anytime they're off the map. Hard matchups. These are nightmare lanes, champions that can burst you down quickly, dodge or negate your ultimate, and punish your lack of mobility. Just some tips to survive some of these matchups. Play ultra safe pre-6 and avoid unnecessary trades. Use your passive to block hard CC and poke. Track enemy jungler closely and ask for help if you predict you're getting dived. Prioritize farming near or under your tower and look for jungle assists before all-ins. Play for the mid game where you can win teamfights and make picks later on. Climbing and mentality advice. How Malzahar actually wins games. Malzahar is not a 1v5 champion. You're not meant to dash in and take over fights like a Yasuo or a Kali. You're rewarded for farming well, staying alive, and picking the right moments to press your advantage. If you ever see someone on the enemy team who's fed, don't panic. You have one of the best tools in the game for dealing with them, a point and click suppression. Just make sure to ping the target before you ult so your team knows to collapse. That one play can lead to a Baron, a Dragon, or a straight up win, no matter how far behind you are. Your job is to keep your cool, stay patient, keep farming, and play your role. Don't force fights if you don't have to. Let champions fall into your zone and be ready to strike when they do. And if the moment comes, don't be afraid to flash R the carry and change the entire game. You don't need to smurf every lane, you just need to be clear, calculated, and consistent. That's how Malzahar climbs. That's how you win. One of Malzahar's biggest strengths is how brutally he punishes bad players. If people misstep, overextend, or forget about your ult, you can delete them, no questions asked. That's why he's so effective for climbing through lower and mid elo. But here's the warning. Once you reach Diamond and above, the margin for error gets a lot smaller. Most players will know how to play around your ultimate, manage your wave clear, and respect your passive. With a straightforward champ like Malzahar, you don't have flashy outplays to fall back on, so you'll need to play sharper, cleaner, and with even more awareness to stay effective. That doesn't mean he falls off, it just means you'll need to level up your decision making and discipline as the elo climbs. If you're up for that challenge, this champion will keep rewarding you. And that's everything you need to climb with Malzahar, from abilities, builds, matchups, and combos, to the mentality it takes to actually win with this champion. And just so you know, this isn't theory. I recently climbed from Emerald to Diamond with a 90% win rate in my last 10 games on 2 different occasions, using this exact setup. Malzahar just works. He's tested, reliable, and brutally effective when played right. Honestly, he can be picked almost every single time, no matter the matchups. And more than that, Malzahar teaches you the real game. He's simple once you understand him, which means your focus can go towards wave control, vision, pressure, and decision making. There's no flashy mechanics to hide behind, just clarity, discipline, and timing. And if you get that part right, I promise you the LP will follow. If this helped you out, drop a like or comment below, let me know what you want to see next. And if you're serious about climbing this season, I've got more guides on the way. I'm Zeus, and I'll see you in the next one.